Well, good morning. Good morning, football world. The news is true. The news is true, guys. Davante Adams has officially now been traded to the New York Jets. The Chiefs ain't getting him, so that's win number one. That's win number one. They never were, but I feel good that he's going to the Jets. The Jets sent the Raiders a third-round pick, a conditional third-round pick that could turn into a second-round pick. The Raiders wanted. They really, really wanted a second-rounder. They could get it depending on how Davante performs, probably how much he plays. Davante Adams already at the Jets facility, so I like to imagine he was just waiting there. He knew as soon as Aaron Rodgers at the end of the game throws that deep ball to Mike Williams, where Mike Williams didn't run the route that Aaron Rodgers wanted, and the ball was intercepted, that GM Aaron Rodgers was going to get Davante onto the team today. So the fact that he was there this quick is hilarious. And the question is, does this really help the Jets? Does this make NFL officiating better? Because that's what really ruined Monday Night Football between the Jets and Bills. So the trade is not 100% official. It's expected to happen. It's been reported by everyone: Schefter, Rappaport, Tom Pelissero, Ari's there. So we got it all. And he's got to pass a physical. He's dealing with a hamstring injury, which we've all joked that, as soon as he's traded, his hamstring's going to be fine. But let's assume the injury is actually real. They're going to have to take a look at that, make sure it's a normal hamstring injury, that it's not too severe. But, even if he doesn't pass a physical, you think GM Aaron Rodgers still signs him? I do. I 100% think Aaron Rodgers still signs him. Hello, Quentin Johnston, Jefferson Williams. The fogging, I know what you're saying, will continue until morale improves. Is that supposed to be a flogging? I was thinking flagging because of all the flags last night. Anyway, I think this is obviously good for the Jets. That's not a huge leap. I think one issue we have seen with the Jets so far is Aaron Rodgers wanting certain things from his wide receivers and those wide receivers not knowing exactly what he wants. That's the type of thing it just takes time to develop. Again, we saw it at the end of the game last night. That final throw, Aaron wants a comeback route. Mike Williams still running. He tries to come back. Once he sees where the ball's going, he slips, falls. The Bills pick it off and end the game. Now, that was an extra opportunity because a few plays earlier, Aaron Rodgers fumbled the ball and the officials ruled it an incomplete pass and gave it back to the Jets. So, I think this does two things. One, it gives Rodgers the guy he knows he can depend on every single play. That's not Allen Lazard, because that's his guy he trusts. We saw Garrett Wilson make a pretty insane catch in the back of the end zone on Monday Night Football. And I think this helps Garrett Wilson as well. If you have two legit number one targets, that makes opposing defenses have to play you different, a little more honestly. So not only does this, I think, ultimately help Aaron Rodgers, I do. I think the question is, how much does this help the Jets? They fired their head coach a week ago. Now they traded for a wide receiver that we know is good. But he's look, Adams battling an injury right now. Is he going to be 100%? He's also getting older for a wide receiver. How effective will he actually be? I don't really know. I think it'll be an improvement. How much? A little bit, a lot, moderate. The Jets have lost a few, too many games. But I think Davante improves his situation slightly, right? Going from the Raiders to the Jets. I don't know how much of an upgrade that is for Davante Adams, but it is. Oh, thank you. It was flagging. It is an upgrade. I love Johnny's tweet here. I don't think it's a coincidence. Davante is a Jet less than less than 11 hours after Rodgers called out Mike Williams in that post-game press conference. Yeah, so Rodgers straight up said he was expecting Mike Williams to run a different route at the end of that game. What was I saying before that? Davante, Garrett Wilson. I don't remember. Davante makes the Jets a lot better. Maybe they win a few more games, but I don't think they win a ring this year. Yes, I definitely don't think they're winning a ring. We know Rodgers still got it. We saw him complete a Hail Mary last night, right before halftime. A few really nice throws. The other thing that's concerning, even with Davante Adams coming, Aaron Rodgers had the piss beat out of him last night. He took a ton of hits. Like, Davante Adams doesn't really fix their offensive line right now. Now, maybe it gives Aaron Rodgers a more reliable target to get some quick throws out, a guy he knows where he's going to be in situations where he's getting certain looks from the defense. Maybe it negates some of those sacks. But Aaron Rodgers took a lot of hits last night in addition to losing that game. The Raiders, to get Davante, gave up a first-round pick, a second-round pick, $56 million in cash, 37 games. Now, they're getting rid of him because the Jets are going to pay his salary. He had 2 years left, but it's non-guaranteed, so he was going to leave the Raiders after this season anyway. The Raiders tried to say that they wouldn't trade him, right? But they had to trade him, or else he was just going to leave next year. So they got something. The Raiders got something, and they are in full rebuilding mode right now, right? They've got a tank for a quarterback, acquire as many picks as they can to try and build that team. And yeah, Mike Williams going to be the Jets' number 4 receiver. It's going to be Davante Adams, Garrett Wilson, Allen Lazard, and then Mike Williams in the pecking order of targets every game. But we do know Davante makes Aaron Rodgers better. Here's some EPA. God, I hate these EPA stats, but they're right, I guess. It makes Aaron Rodgers more efficient when he's on the field. Aaron Rodgers better when he's targeting Davante Adams. We know that for sure. So the Raiders have also freed up $28.4 million in cap space for 2025, and they'll have $108 million of cap room next offseason. So the Raiders should be able to, in theory, I don't trust it because it's the Raiders, in theory, rebuild quickly, right? They've got money to spend on free agents. They got to find a quarterback in the draft, and now they have a glaring hole at wide receiver as well. So they got to find a quarterback. They got to find a receiver. But maybe they're a team. If/when T. Higgins hits free agency, they can pay him. I don't know who's going to want to pay or go play for the Raiders until they know who the quarterback is there. But here's a little cap info on Spot Track. Great follow if you want the money info on player contracts. But yeah, this is crazy. We knew it was going to happen. Of course, it happens on a Tuesday morning when I'm trying to finish winners and losers. But let me get to some of these super chats. Mike Williams, you are now warming the bench. That's correct, Dane. Did you end up watching the Broncos this week? God dang it. Again, JMO. If there's anything the Jets taught me, it's that no individual person can make things better on their own, but damn if I'm not a little pumped. Yeah, you got to be pumped if you're a Jets fan. It's hard. That loss last night sucked. That game got ruined by the officials. There was a lot of bad calls both ways. It felt like we were going to get, a nice game between Josh Allen and Rodgers. They were both reaching into their bag of tricks. Rodgers was dealing. Josh Allen was still making some of his insane throws right before the sideline, using his legs, and then it just flatlined once the officials took over. And the Jets struggled in the red zone. It was windy. There's the missed field goals. GPS will be back tomorrow. I just went live because I should have texted Tom, but I knew Tom's probably working on his reaction video. I'm trying to get winners and losers done. This helps, but I will scream it from the rooftops. Bench Tyron Smith. He looks lost, and he either needs to get it together or sit. Fair enough. Davante Adams, can he build it? No, he can't. Now watch the Jets cut Mike Williams, and he goes to Kansas City, and he becomes really good again. Ooh. Yeah, I mean, the same thing would, that does terrify me. But you'd have to get on the same page with their offense with Patrick Mahomes, right? All that stuff takes time. And unless you're one of those elite receivers that just open every play, which Mike Williams never really that guy. I don't know how quickly that impacts if he goes somewhere. Rodgers got the coach fired last week and now making the Jets Packers East. Since both teams wear green and the team is full of former Packers, will Grossi get confused and start a Jets cast by mistake? Maybe. There are former Packers there now. You've got Lazard, you've got Adams. They had Cobb last year, but, he's not playing. Make sure you follow me over on Twitter if you want, at Brandon Perna. I picked every game on Tom Grossi's Pick'em League right this week except one, Brandon. Oh, the Broncos. I do apologize. But where are the Jets at? Jets record. Have they won 2 games this year? Yeah, they're now 2-4, right? They're on a 3-game losing streak. Adams leaves the Raiders, who are also on a losing streak. Is it a 2 or 3 game? I don't know. There's a lot of pressure on Davante. That's one thing we're not talking about, right? Jets fans should be excited. This should help their passing game, should open up the run game. But if it doesn't work out, like Davante is the second guy who's supposed to save this team, like really save him. Aaron Rodgers was one, got hurt. Now Aaron Rodgers is supposed to save him again. And now Davante Adams. 100%. Got to save the Jets. Otherwise, this is a bad trade for the Jets then, right? If they don't get to the playoffs, how pissed off are Jets fans going to be? And they got to dig themselves out of a hole to get to the playoffs. It's going to be slow. It's December football for the New York Jets is going to be more important than it's been in the last decade, essentially. Adams will help create space for Wilson, too, which means Rodgers will throw the ball to Wilson more. Right? We hope so. We hope Garrett Wilson gets more targets. Again, you got to feel good about his catch in the end zone last night. I think it's those things, and then it should also make the Jets' red zone offense better. There was that tackle Taylor Rapp made last night on Monday Night Football where I think it was Breece Hall who broke free. And it looked like he was going to score a touchdown, but Taylor Rapp, nice angle, got him out at the 3 or 4 yard line, and then the Jets couldn't score a touchdown there. And I think that either resulted in a field goal or that was one of the missed kicks. But that's because their red zone offense just hasn't been very good. So this Davante should, you hope, help your red zone offense, right? The same way like when Tom Brady was with the Buccaneers. Mike Evans in the red zone from the 3-2 yard line was more reliable for the Buccaneers to score a touchdown than handing the ball off. So Davante would be that for Aaron Rodgers in those situations. And knowing that the Jets don't have to worry about even running the ball in the red zone, they can just throw to Davante and score touchdowns, which over time should open up the running backs to score. Raiders won this draft. Trade? You mean trade? Did they win this trade? They better win the next draft, Raiders fans. My buddy said he heard on a show that Douglas is doing everything to save his career. If this doesn't work out, the next GM is going to be in hell. Yeah, so Joe Douglas is technically the GM of the Jets, but I think it goes Woody Johnson, Aaron Rodgers, then Joe Douglas on the pecking order. You know. We need to find a way to get recently benched players to promote your shop. It won't let me type it for some reason. Oh, you mean benchwarmershop.com? Where if you were really upset about the refs last night, you can get a delicious dark roast coffee. Or you can get all the cursed shirts you see on Power Rankings. Benchwarmershop.com. Adams to the Jets. Jerry losing his shit since the Cowboys got their butts kicked. Sirianni yelling at his own fans. All I care about is no KC three-peat. Yeah, they look like the most stable organization right now. Kansas City does. They've had injury issues, but no drama there. No drama in Kansas City, right? Anyway, I do think this makes the Jets better. I just don't know how much better. Good for Davante. He gets out of a situation he no longer wanted to be in. The Raiders getting rid of Derek Carr, that was stupid. He gets to go play with the quarterback he wants to play with. That is huge. Again, the Jets gave up a 3rd-round pick that could turn into a 2nd-round pick, depending on Adams' production and playing time. They will pay all of Davante Adams' salary, and the Raiders get to free up a fair amount of cap space this year and next year. I think there's a whole bunch of good info on the Spot Track page over on Twitter here. There we go. A little update on the compensation. Oh, he's got to be a 1st or 2nd team All-Pro and on the active roster for the AFC Championship game or Super Bowl. Oh, damn. So the Jets got to fucking perform for this to be really good for the Raiders. The Raiders like, okay, yeah. Wait, what? We have to give up. This is a 2nd only if you get to a championship and or a Super Bowl? Dang. This is a 3rd-round pick. I don't think the Jets are going to the championship game. They have done nothing to show that they are championship caliber. So this is a 3rd-round pick, in my opinion. Unless the Raiders know something about the Jets that we don't. I mean, a 3rd-rounder, like I think what we learned last week is nobody was going to give the Raiders a 2nd-round pick. So it'd be funny to laugh at the Raiders right now, and we shall. But nobody was going to give up a 2nd-rounder for Davante. If he was like 28, then sure, it would have been, I think, an easy decision. But now we know, dang, it's definitely a 3rd-rounder. All-Pro, 2nd team All-Pro. Boom, there you go. Well, I hope this works out for you, New York. Your expectations have been lowered, I think, Jets fans. And they were rock bottom last season once Rodgers got hurt. Then he started to get hopeful again, and then he kind of looked good pretty early this season. Now, reset, but with a glimmer of hope. Jets fans, man, they are playing. The football gods are just tugging on your heartstrings. I feel for Jets fans. They don't know how to feel about football right now. And that was a winnable game last night. And that game might be the difference between whether or not they get into the playoffs come January. Jets trying to save the season. Gutekunst. Yeah. And we know Rodgers' time's limited, right? He's 40 now. He's going to be 41 by the time the season ends. So I respect them bringing in Davante. It is an Aaron Rodgers move, but I think it's a necessary one. It's like, I don't know if he'll be back next year. I think a lot of whether or not Aaron Rodgers comes back to play for the Jets in 2025 depends on how the rest of this season goes. And it better go pretty fucking good with Davante, or Rodgers going to be like, I don't think it's worth it anymore. I think we saw him questioning his decision last night on the sideline when he's just like, ugh, when he's got the bloody L dripping out of his hand. It was crazy. Anyway, thank you guys for joining me. I'm going to get back to winners and losers. Maybe we'll get another Davante Adams episode up. I don't know. Please, if you're new here, subscribe to this channel. Make sure we get some likes on this stream. How do we got? We got 408 likes. We got 4,200 people watching the live breaking news. And, let me end my poll. Can we get 1,000 likes here? Does this is this a good trade for the Jets? 45% of you say yes. 32% say darkness retreat. So I'll take that as a overwhelming yes. Good move for the Jets. I tend to agree. Very good move for the Jets. How good? We'll see. So Cheetah is headed back to Kansas City. 2020 reset. I swear to God, if Tyreek Hill suddenly goes to the Chiefs, I'm going to be very pissed off. Anyway, I appreciate all you guys. Winners and losers will be up by hopefully noon. Hopefully no more trades happen.